question that I would like to ask you today. Where's the trust? Where's the trust? And I want you to think about this. I want you to sit and think. We say we trust God. And I want you to think about the word trust. Trust is a strong word because when you say you trust somebody, that really means you trust somebody. You depend on that person. That is a strong word. And we say it so boldly. God, I trust you. Doesn't matter what happened in my life. I trust you. We sang the song, I will trust in the Lord until the day I die. Or if we tell the truth about it, we just might as well say, I will trust in the Lord until my back is against the wall, and then we fall apart and the trust leaves. Do we still trust God when this stuff don't look good? Do we still trust God when the news don't sound good? When it don't feel good? Can we still trust and know that God is working out everything for our good? See, something that I sit and think about, and as you hear everything going on about the election and who's in the White House, well, I tell you what, as long as my Father still reigns in his house, I have no doubt that he'll work it out whatever's going on up inside that White House. See, where's the trust when we say that we trust God? I want you to think about right now, you got somebody on an interview. And somebody has had a job interview and they prayed about it and they said, God, I'm going to trust you. No matter what, if you want me to be there, God, I know that it'll work out. I know that your will will be done. What happens when you get that phone call? What happens when you get that phone call and you get denied for that job? What happens? I can't believe it. The reason they didn't pick me is because of my skin color. Yep, that's the reason why. That's the reason why they did not pick me, because of my skin color. Somebody must have called. My old company must have said something against me. And that's the reason why. That's the reason they didn't get the job. And see, before we know it, we're taking the power out of God's hand and we're putting the power into man's hand. See, you got somebody right now, you wanted that house, you wanted that car, you wanted that loan, but it didn't go through. And what did you do? It was because of your skin color. It was somebody else's fault, the reason why you didn't get it. But see, you just said, I trust God. God, I trust you to work it out. And what do? We go blaming other people, taking the power once again out of God's hand and putting it into man's hand. See, something that I think people need to understand. Man cannot stop you from anything. The devil in hell can't stop you from getting anything that God has set up for you to get. Somebody needs to hear that. See, if you didn't get a promotion, if you didn't get a job, if a loan didn't go through, a house didn't go through, a car didn't go through, man cannot stop anything from not going through for you. Somebody need to hear that, because man has no power. But what we do, we give man power. We give the power to man and take it out of God's hand. And I need somebody to start focusing on what God can do, not what man can do. So I ask you today, where's the trust? See, do we ever sit and think about when the job don't come through, when the loan don't come through, when the house, when the car don't go through? Do we ever just sit and think, maybe it's a good reason that God don't want me to have it? Do we just ever sit and think, maybe it's for my good? Because understand this, God truly wants what's best for his children. And I know we can't see it at that time and we can't understand it at that time, but we're just called to trust God. We're called to trust God. See, it could be something that's going on, some underlying issues within that house where when you're trying to pay the mortgage, and guess what? You could be trying to pay the mortgage and then you're trying to get a whole lot of stuff fixed up in that house. The same way with the vehicle, because I know many people who they just had to have that car and now they're trying to pay those car payments along with getting the vehicle fixed. And guess what happened? Well, forget it. I'm not going to be paying on the car and trying to fix the car. They can just come get it. So guess what happened? They come get your car and now your credit screwed up. See, you don't know what it is that God is trying to prevent you, some type of mess that God is trying to prevent you into getting to. See, I can remember when me and my husband was house hunting, and it was a house we looked at and we just knew that was the one. Oh, we just knew that was the one. When we went to check on it the next week, the house was gone. Now, we couldn't understand it, but God already knew I have better for you. And that's just like some of us right now. God is saying, if you just wait, I have better for you. God is telling somebody, I got better for you. So we must start trusting God. We have to trust God. What about when we get in that financial bind? See, as soon as we get in the financial bind, we call mama, we call daddy, we call sister, we call brother, we call friend, we call everybody but God. And we just tell the truth about it. See, some of us, we don't even give God a chance to work. We don't even give God a chance to work the situation out because we on the phone trying to work everything out ourselves. Let me call them. And then I think it's so funny when we done exalted all the other revenues and nobody else could help us. We get to the point and then you know what we got the nerve to do? We got the nerve to sit down and say, all right, God, I guess it's just you and me, big fella. God, I'm turning it over to you. That's exactly what we'll go to God. Well, God, I'm just going to give it to you when you should have gave it to God in the first place. He's the first person you should have took it to. And see, and the truth be told, a lot of us, we go to God by default. The only reason some of us is going to God, not because the person we normally would get the money for, they passed away, or the other person, they was in a financial bind and they couldn't help us, and we was forced to go to God by default. So if you tell the truth, half of us, we just go to God by default because that man or woman we normally go get the money for, they couldn't give it to us, and we go to God by default. Let's just be honest, tell the truth, and put it on the table. And I ask you again, where's the trust? What about when we get that doctor's report? See, what about when we're boldly and we say it in prayer? What about when we're around our sisters and our brothers and we talk so big and I don't care what comes out. I'm going to trust God because no matter what those results are, I know that God got me. I trust that my Heavenly Father got me. Let that doctor give you that phone call and those results don't come back the way you think. You hitting the ground talking about, Lord, I can't make it. I ain't going to be able to make it, Jesus. I can't believe this done happened to me. Where's the trust? What about when you get those results in? And what about when you have to have a procedure done? We say we trust God. What do we say? He's my doctor in a sick room. Is that not what the song say? That's what we say. He's my doctor. He's going to guide the doctor's hands. He's going to guide the surgeon's hand. I know God is there no matter where I'm at, right? That's what we say. But the minute we found out we got a procedure, we run it clean across the country to have something done to us. We run into another state. Take me to Atlanta. I'm not going over there. Take me to California. Take me to Florida. I'm going to Texas. No. See, do you understand what we're saying? See, it doesn't matter if you're in the middle of Timbuktu. Long as God is there for you, he will take great care of you. It does not matter. See, you can run to any state, any city you want, but God has to be there. He has to be the guide. So I ask you today, where is the trust? Where is the trust? And we have to get to a point that we must fully start trusting in God. Not just saying we trust God, but getting to the point where we truly start trusting in God and seeing that the truth be told. And just like I was guilty of when I didn't trust God, you know the reason that I didn't trust God? Because I didn't know God. And that's just like somebody else right now. The reason you can't trust God is because you don't know God. See, how did you figure out that you could depend on your mate? You had to learn your mate. How did you realize that you had a dependable friend? You had to grow to learn that friend. And in the same way, we have to grow and have that personal relationship to learn God. That's the only way that we can start learning who he is and realize that I can truly trust God. See, if you tell the truth about it, it's hard to trust somebody that you do not know. And I'll say it again, just because you go to a building, whether you hear it on TV, on radio, or the internet, that does not mean that you know God. You're hearing about God, but that does not mean that you know God. You must start seeking God to have a true relationship with God and start being obedient to God. So I need some people to start seeking God to have that personal relationship with him so you can truly get to know him. Right now, we need to start doing it right now. And listen, and it's okay to ask God. Ask God for what you need. And if you need help trusting him, just say, God, help me. Help me trust you. Help me depend on you. Help me start leaning on you more. Ask for what you don't have. It's okay. It's okay to ask God for that instead of always want to ask him for that check to come in the mail, asking him for that luxury car. Won't you ask God, help me have a little bit more faith in you. Help me, God. He will do it. He will do it for his children. So anything that you're dealing with today, go to God and ask God. Ask God and say, I need help. I need help believing in you. I need help trusting in you. Because like I can say about my life, I didn't believe in God and I didn't trust in God because I did not know God. And until I started growing, I had to just start growing and having my own personal, intimate relationship with God. And then I finally could realize that, okay, I can trust God. I can depend on God. I get it now. So somebody right now, ask him to help you. Ask him right now, God, help me to trust you. Help me to trust you better. Help me. And he will answer that. Just ask him for help. So I always remember in my closing, self-examination is the best examination. And Jesus Christ is Lord. And he's all we have. Have a great rest of the day.